Hello everyone, and you're listening to LittleMissSwan. I am your host Miranda, and today we are going to be talking about the new HBOMAX series of Gossip Girl. I've seen a lot of other commentary channels, put their own spin on what they thought of the new series, episode by episode, but I thought it was going to be better structured if I just did one whole binge of it and then, just say what I thought. Similar to how I did my Kissing Booth video, we are going to break this down into 3 different segments. 1, which is my initial thoughts on the series before I watched it. 2, with the character analysis. And 3, just any, final wrap-ups. But before we get into it, if you could please subscribe and like and, do all that jazz, I would really appreciate it. And just to give any feedback towards me in the comment section would be awesome. But yeah, let's just go. So I admit I was kind of a hater of that Met Steps leaked photo that came out with all the characters just, lounging around, because you could pick, apart it so much. And with, just reading Twitter comments and stuff like that, I could agree with some things like, this is clearly a Chuck, this is clearly a Serena, this is clearly a Blair. But, I was wrong. With some things, they were right in some of how they styled the characters to look towards like the OG cast, but yes, they do hold their own. One thing that I sort of did want to say around like the new cast is that the concept of like Gossip Girl has always been around, like since the creation of the books and then the television series in 2007, 2008, but it never really went away. I have a friend who went to a different high school and she had a similar experience where there was actually a Gossip Girl at the school. It was called The Insider, which was kind of ironic because that was Dan's blog name or book name or something like that. Anyway, so, it was prevalent when I was at high school, like a decade ago. I guess like the point I'm trying to make is the whole Gossip Girl sphere and how socialism, the blogs and social media has become so relevant to the point where it's explosive. And that somehow that can also get out of hand and how people use it, especially with, online bullying and all that stuff. And I don't know how this series was going to jump into all of that. But with that being said, let's do a character deep dive to see if I was right again on my initial judgments. So we've got Julian. She is sort of the, pairing against the original Blair. She's scheming, a little bit selfish, but badass all at the same time. The ever-evolving world of social media is what has been holding her character back, in my opinion. Like, she worries too much about what the external world would think, and it doesn't really help when she's got friends or minions like Monet and Luna around her who are constantly digging at her to think about like her social presence. Her bond with her sister Zoya is something that grounds her just a little bit, and it's one of those things that make her a little bit more of a wholesome character. As she is easily manipulated by the forces around her, it's really hard for her to balance the wholesomeness that she does have inside of her compared to her social media and just general presence overall. I feel that I connect with Julian the most because not being an only child as she is, but, being the oldest, feeling the weight of the world on top of you just pulls you down. And how do you balance that? Of course, my parents weren't as overbearing as Julian's father, unlike other type A characters such as Spencer Hastings and Pretty Little Liars. But I do understand that, the first ones, they always have to feel that pressure. With that said, I think that Julian, over the 6-episode course that we've gotten so far, has had the most character growth in her. And especially in episode 3, we see like the breakdown of the layers that, come with Julian. At first we see her and it's all, high maintenance all the time. But, when you break it down, there's like a sweet and kind-hearted person underneath. So to break it down, I guess when you look at episode 1 and 2, when her interactions with Zoya, she's still very judgy even towards her own sister with just the look, all the, those type of looks. But then by episode 6, you just see her just having a wholesome relationship with her own sister, and she's not judgy, she just wants to be there for her. I personally believe that Obi was always going to be the one for her, not necessarily in the relationship, and it's definitely not healthy, but the fact that her main motivator for being, I guess, a better person is Obi, if that makes sense. Because you can definitely understand the romantic love, and it never fades, but she wanted to get better to show him that she was the one. And I think owning up to her own mistakes has been like really important, and that's, I guess, why Obi and her did that kiss in the alleyway, you know? Like, at the end of the day, she's not a bad person necessarily, she's just too easily manipulated by the external forces of the world as a teenager. Zoya. Zoya was clearly the Jenny Humphrey of everything, and it kind of stays true to my initial judgments on the photo that was released, the Met Gala one. A fish out of water, and with great ambition. She's a force to be reckoned with at the same time. So Zoya is a freshman, so that means she'd be between the ages of 14 or 15, depending on where you're from. And she definitely has that Jenny-esque with her. I don't know how to explain it. Like, coming down to even like the uniform and how she styles it, it's very much paying homage to the character. And also being, you know, that little bit on the younger side, I think if I was her, I would make some of the same decisions that she would have, because you're not at the mental capabilities of being an adult, but you're trying to be mature, but you don't know your foot in the world. As with Julian, I think she struggles to find her place within everything. She's trying to be true to who she is, but at the same time, with being easily manipulated and the world of social media, like how do you balance that? The slow gravity towards, you know, the Instagram life and all that, that's the thing that does hold her back, as does Julian. And she forgets to sort of live in the present and enjoy the company that she has with Obi or even her sister, because you see the slow gravity towards, you know, taking a picture of everything, always looking on point. You know, it's always about the socials. Still with the heart of gold, her social justice views become more prevalent, especially in episode 6 with the protesting and everything like that. She still stays true to her core values, which I think that's what differs her from Jenny Humphrey, because Jenny she didn't care. She was too ambitious, she took it too far, and she didn't care who she hurt in the process. And with Zoya, you know, she at least cares. Obi, what can I say that would make me just like him more? At first, I loved him. He seemed like, you know, the kind-hearted, soul-down sort of character, and then he just turned into a dick. At first, I loved him, you know, with his love for academics and literature and romance and everything, but then he just slowly evolved into the rich kid, like, type of dick. Like, he's too scared to stand up to his mother, for one. Too rich for his own good. And cries, woe is me, oh my god, I'm too rich, you don't understand. In the group that he is in, he's grown up the exact same as everyone else, you know, with being the rich kid. But the way that he comes across, like, oh, woe is me, it just does my head in. It's the pretentious attitude that just pisses me off. I mean, one thing that I do kind of like with his character is the paying homage to the original Dan from like season 1. Like, I don't belong in this world, but at the same time, I really want to get in with this world, and I am also rich, and yeah. Max, oh my gosh, I love Max. I love Thomas Dodery anyway. Sorry if I mispronounced his last name. His sassiness and his wittiness with all the comebacks and just anything. And to see his character development through like 6 episodes is awesome. Like, he's kind of the Chuck of the group in his flirtiness, but at the same time, very different from how Chuck is. He likes the risk. He likes the risk without thinking about the reward or consequence. I knew that he was going to be like bi or pan in terms of sexual orientation initially, based on what we got from like the trailer, especially with him and Augie. And it's definitely no surprise that the implied threesome happened, because, you know, it's Gossip Girl, you know, it's that type of TV show. However, it did make me feel a little bit weird because, again, I am watching teenagers, so it just makes me feel a little bit weird about it. But then again, so was the original series. Anyway, one thing that made me really sad was the situation with Rafa because, oh god, we hate student-teacher relationships around here. We hate it. No, we yeet that out of here. What's really, really hard to watch is how Rafa blames Max and manipulates him and blackmails him for the relationship that they had. It's just so wrong. Blaming the victim, blaming the abused, that is not anything that should happen in 2021. And add in like the whole Gossip Girl experience with him exposing it on the site and manipulating even the other teachers. And oh my god, and he's pursuing Max's dad as well. Like, put this man in jail. Put him in jail. Speaking of Max's parents, oh my gosh, his pops, I think that's what he refers them to. Just correct me if I'm wrong. But when he walks down the stairs and he sits at the dinner table and he's like trying to sit in the chair without ruining the dress, oh my gosh. Iconic. Straight iconic. I feel like I need to review this episode with Mike's Mike, because he would have so much to say about like that one scene, and he would do like a whole video centered around just the sit down. Mike, hit me up. I guess like also getting back to Max and how he deals with social situations. At the end of the day, he is a true friend at heart, to the point where he even does a home-cooked meal for Audrey when she was in crisis. Like, he insists on cooking it himself. It makes me feel like warm at heart. Audrey, my babe, don't even get me started. I love her so much. She's one tough cookie. Like, don't get me wrong, she's tough. Her tough exterior and attitude really goes to show that inside, and she is just warm and wholesome and amazing, but she exudes just anger. I mean, her mother was never really around and struggling with her own issues that she couldn't even take care of her daughter properly, so Audrey's had to be on her own. She had to self-manage everything, and it definitely shows, I think, start of episode 3 and 4, her crumbling down to the fact that, you know, she needs to rely on her friends, but she's too scared to admit it. Orky is her safety net in the whole situation, but at the same time, yeah.
Oh, hang with the cat?
No?
Hang with the cat.
Oh. Why are you in the laundry basket? She chooses chaos. So anyway, Orky is her safety net and the one that she always has to, you know, rely on. But she wants that exciting and spark that Max, I suppose, draws to her. But at the same time, it's like, at what cost with the relationship that she has with Orky? I do like the throuple that they had at the end, but again, it makes me feel a bit funny because I'm watching kids, you know? But the themes of exploring your sexual orientation, your needs, your desires, and just growing up in general in a different kind of world than I did, like that, it's quite interesting to me because I don't want to see them do the frick-frack. Anyway, fashion-wise, she is the most stylish out of them all, in my personal opinion. Like, I would wear everything that she wears. Like, I don't know if you can see, but, you know, preppy style, dressing up, that sort of thing, I tend to go towards a lot of the things that she would wear. Monet. I love both of their, like, I wouldn't say like schoolgirl, but it's that preppy chic. A channel that does a really, really good deep dive into Audrey's style is Clever and Chic, and I'll link them in the description. But they described Audrey in the perfect little sense of how I would. She has an appreciation for old glamour and dinner parties, accompanied with a contemporary taste, and she is an avid reader who relishes in the feminist theory, which is definitely true. I couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. While I'm not as icy and spicy as Audrey is, I do see a lot of myself in her. I suppose that's why I gravitated so much to her initially. As like Julian, she gets in her own head a little bit too much, and she always wants to overcompensate for a lot of things when she just needs to breathe. And also pair that with the taking care of others more than she wants to take care of herself, I do relate to a lot. I could do like a whole deep dive on Audrey's character because I love her so much, but I think Clever and Chic summed it up amazingly with the fashion, but also how that contrasts to her personality. So I'll link that in the description, so please do watch her. I've been watching her for so long. Love her. Shout out. Okay, so this precious person, oh my gosh, I love him. His journey of self-discovery and within, you know, standing up to other people, his sexual orientation, just being like a good person overall. Love. I wish I saw more of him in terms of screen time, because the only time we actually really got to see him is when he's juxtaposing like other characters such as Audrey, Max, you know, just vibing. So I wish we got to see a little bit more of him. One thing that I will say is that one scene with him standing up to Rafa in that sort of like Kiki bar thing. We all need a person like Oki in this situation. We all need one. Luna and Monet, oh my gosh, the minions, but not minions, because at the end of the day, they're running the whole game. And we all know that. The savviness, the intuition, just the whole like girl boss energy that they exude, we love them. They know how to get it done at the end of the day. Like, while they are the classic bitchy minions, you know, you can't have Gossip Girl without your minions, without people running the show. That's all I'll say about them. Lastly, the teachers. They're just... These are a group of predators. Predators. Capital P. Like, Kate is okay just because, you know, she's still trying to gain the audience's trust. I suppose, like, she's still a little shit. Or big shit. But, you know, at least she still has somewhat of morals. But everything else about it and how it's executed is so wrong. Like, yes, they have technically child pornography on their phones and they exploited that on the fucking internet. Like, how? How is this illegal? This is so wrong. One thing that I will say that I found from a costume design perspective is that I liked the throwback to Serena and the pilot, like with Kate's outfit. It's like the exact same. And I read in an article, I will link it down below as well, that they purposely did that. She kind of also looks like she looks like Kristen Bell, just like in her face, and it's blonde hair and it's everything. So the good like throwback to that was really, really cool to see. But otherwise, the whole like community of teachers, especially Rafa, they can get fucked. So lastly, we're going into the general thoughts of just everything. I'm giving a whole episode 1 through 6 a 6.5 out of 10, just because of how the teachers, they bring it down for me. They really bring it down. And the fact that Gossip Girl was revealed in like the first episode. If Gossip Girl was anonymous and I was still watching it as, you know, the teachers looking in and seeing like all these like, you know, mystery stories and stuff like that, I think that would be cool because it's still a mystery. And I do understand the point that you want to take back the power, but this is not the way to do it. I don't know. I'm very, very conflicted on the whole thing. And it's like, I guess why we watch these type of shows is to get away from reality, like with the teacher storyline sort of thing. It's approaching Riverdale type of like fucked up. We don't talk about Riverdale over here because... But yes, sorry, I'm rambling on my final thoughts. I really hope that for episode 7, because this is like season 1A, and then we've got season 1B coming out, I think, next year, or like around Christmas time. So we'll see how it goes, but I really hope that they continue on in an appropriate manner. But knowing the type of franchise and HBOMAX and how it's very R-rated all the time, it's going to be a drama fest. But anyway, I would love to, again, hear your theories about what's to come, and give me feedback on how you feel about these videos, because I'm having fun with it. And yeah, so I hope that everyone has a splendid day. Today it's approaching springtime, so we've got some good natural light here, and I can't wait for it to warm up in Melbourne again. gotta ding the bell and do all that fancy crazy stuff. But yes, toodaloo.